Third grade, it's time for science. Today we're going to continue with lesson 1 that we started yesterday. So you're going to need your science book on page 8. You're also going to need your notes again. Today we're going to take the second page of our notes right here. All right, once you have that out, keep watching this video and we'll get going in our text. Now, after we read our text today, we're going to take a quick field trip. All right, so make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video. Third grade, today we are on lesson 1A. So in your book, you're on page 8. We're going to read here. I got my camera a little bit closer, so hopefully you can see the notes easily today. All right. So plants need leaves. Today we're reading about why plants need leaves. A plant's leaves make up its leaf system. A system consists of parts that work together. Leaves come in many shapes and sizes. They help green plants because they make food. The food they make is a kind of sugar. All right, so they can make their own sugar all by themselves. That food is all that they need. Now, we got our first thing in our notes, our system. All right, so in your notes, if you look down here at the tiny picture of me, we're on this third page of our notes right here at the top. All right, what is a system? A system consists of parts that work together. So what's a system? Parts that work together. Okay? Next we're going to read, as we read, we're going to look for what those leaves' job is. What is a leaf's job? To make food, leaves use air, water, and the energy of sunlight. Carbon dioxide is a gas in air. It enters the plant through the tiny holes on the underside of leaves. Water passes from the soil through the roots and stems into each leaf. All right, so carbon dioxide's going in holes in the underside of the leaf. Water's coming up through the roots into the plant, into the leaves. The leaves change carbon dioxide and water into sugar and oxygen. So they take carbon dioxide, water, and then they can transform that into sugar and oxygen that they need. The oxygen is a byproduct. That goes out. They don't need the oxygen anymore. That's why plants are good for the air. If you have plants, it's taking the carbon dioxide, which is bad for you, out of the air, and taking the oxygen, which is good for you, and putting it back in the air. So plants help keep our air clean. Oxygen goes out from the plant through the same tiny holes on the lower surface of the leaves. The plant uses the sugar to live and grow. So, first main job that we had, first main leaf's job, to make food. The leaves are where the food is made to help that plant grow and stay healthy. All right, here you can see a picture of that diagram. So you've got your leaf here. Water is entering the leaf from the roots and the stem. And then sugar, when it makes the sugar in the leaves, then the sugar gets sent out of the leaves to the rest of the plant. Up at the top, you can see that gas. So through those tiny little holes in the underside of the leaf, so small you can't even see them without a microscope, then carbon dioxide is entering through the bottom, and oxygen is going to get released once it's done making the food. Then you can see all these little veins. Those veins in a leaf are what deliver water to the leaf. Then they carry sugar away from it. So just kind of the same way our veins in our body carry blood through our body, this leaves is carrying water through their body, through the leaf. Then you have the sun. Plants need sun. This is why you always hear about plants growing really well in places where it's sunny a lot. Plants need energy from the sun to change carbon dioxide and water into sugar and oxygen. Okay? Let's look at other ways that leaves help plants. Leaves help plants in other ways. They help plants to balance the amount of water plants take in. If there's too much water in the plant, because Mrs. Mackey watered it too much, oh, it doesn't say that. If there's too much water in the plant, leaves will let some water out through the tiny holes in their underside. Okay, so they let water out if there's too much. So if it rains too much, or if there's things that are putting too much water into the plant, those leaves, those little holes can help that water leave. Plants in dry places may have leaves with wax or fuzzy coating to help keep water in. Plants' leaves may also help protect the plant from being eaten. Leaves might be poisonous, sharp, or tough to chew. Hungry animals will leave the plant alone. Right? So it's protection also. So we got 3 more ways that leaves help a plant. 1, balance the amount of water. 2, keep water in. 3, protect the plant. So, balance the amount of water. Keep water in, and then finally protect the plant. Sorry, that was kind of sloppy. I'll try to write neater for you. Then number 6, what things does a leaf need to make food? What are the 3 things it needed? Well, this picture is missing a sun, so go ahead and draw this sun right here. Right? It needs light from the sun. Then it needed carbon dioxide. Now, we're not going to write carbon dioxide. You can write CO2. That's the symbol. That's the science symbol for carbon dioxide. And then finally, it needs water. Then, when you have all those things, the plant can make food. All right? If you are not done with those notes yet, get that all cut up so that your page 3 in your notes looks just like mine. Then, go ahead and keep watching this video. We're going to take a quick field trip. Today we started to learn about roots and how important roots are for a plant. So, I had a quick little science experiment that I did yesterday that I want to show you guys now. First thing you're going to see what I did to set up the experiment. So you're going to see a cup of water, you're going to see a stalk of celery, and I'm going to put some food coloring in the water so that we can see how that water gets up into the plant, and then you'll see me put the celery in the water. Take a look. Now, I let that celery sit overnight, and this morning when I got to school, here's what I found. Now, this might just look like a cup of water with celery in it, but I want you to be able to look real close, and I'll have some pictures in here too. 1, look at the bottom. See how it's all purple? And it's not just dyed. If you can see it, there's spots of it where it's actually darker purple, and that's where the roots took water, and there's things inside of the celery that kind of help that get up to the leaves. Now, the water was sitting here at the bottom, and those roots, where those roots would attach to the celery plant when it was still in the ground, came all the way up through, and then it's actually in the leaves. Let me put it close to the camera so that you can see. See how it's kind of purpley? Yeah, water, that purple water actually came up into those leaves, and those leaves are now trying to make food to keep this plant alive. Now, since there's no roots anymore, and it's not getting any sunlight right now, we're just in my classroom, it's not going to survive without that root still in the ground. But there's all these different plants that you can do this sort of thing with. So you could do it with celery. You maybe have seen people do it with carnation flowers. And what's happening is that purple water is actually coming up into the roots, coming up into the plant, and when those take it to the leaves turn purple. All right, I wish you were here in class to see it in person, because you can tell easier in person, but that's what the roots do. They're taking that water up into the leaves. Next, let's take a look at some different types of leaves. To do that, we need to leave the school. Follow me. All right, now that I'm home, let's go outside and look at some different leaves. Kind of a rainy day for a field trip. What a bummer. But let's look here at some of the different leaves I have in front of my house. One, if you look at this big plant here, you can see this got kind of some small leaves. They're all kind of round, all right? It's a lot different than this plant. Here, you can see the leaves on this plant are really narrow, they're really long, all right? This plant, you can see the flowers really well, right? You've got this yellow flower here. This plant, this bigger one, doesn't have much of flower on it, all right? We've got two more types of leaves I wanna look at. Up here on this plant, these are more of those needle-looking leaves. So if you look at it, this one stays green all year round. It's kind of like one of those pine trees. Okay, so right here you can see they get these really narrow needles. They look like they got all these individual pieces on them. Okay, and then lastly, let's look here. We actually have some leaves that aren't green. Now, if you look really careful, they look like they're green, but if you back up from a distance away, they look like they're purple. All right, so cool. It's amazing to see all the different leaves, all the different types of leaves that God made. Thanks for joining me on my field trip to my house. Look around you for some different types of leaves that you see around your house. All right, see you for next science class. Bye.